Holy shit. Turns out, new OBS UI, it looks weird, but also kind of cool, like way cooler. Feels more dynamic. Look at the colors. I do know that you can change colors in OBS, but I haven't for some reason. But these colors at least feel better than they used to be. They might have not changed them at all though. Let's go and make the notification, because if you join my Discord server, link is in the description, you get to get pings for my streams if you want to. They're opt-in. And let's do something that I haven't tried before. Okay, excellent connection. So I am still on this path of trying to figure out the perfect balance between making good stream content and not burning out on streams. If you look at the consistency of how often I stream on my channel, there is no consistency whatsoever. Sometimes I stream like every day for multiple days in a row, and then a month without streams. That is because I burn out pretty easily and then dread streaming again. So let's try to do an ADHD type thing where I first talk about the thing like usual, but I also do monkey type. I don't know if I can manage that, but I'm really interested if I can. Let's try. This is kind of like new. So in the title of the stream, I say big drama. I switched off AstroNvim. So it's true, I actually switched off this NeoVim distro that I've been using for some time. But it's also kinda a lie, because I didn't switch off because of drama. Don't get me wrong, I do have drama with AstroNvim, actually. I'm usually way faster, trust me. Let's go to this desktop, start a new terminal, and show you pipes. This is also like Subway Surfers of the streaming world, of the Linux configuration content streaming world, which is, yes, my niche. I make stream content about Linux configuration. Considering like most of my streams, you might think that I make specifically NeoVim content. That is not the case, I just happen to. I just happen to a lot of NeoVim configuration, and so I generally want to talk about that. But technically, I make more general Linux configuration content. So I have drama with two pretty big people in the AstroNvim Discord specifically. I quite dislike them, and one of them is even banned on my server. Not gonna get into that unless somebody asks. But with AstroNvim as a whole, I don't have any issues with. Actually, I would still very easily recommend this distro to newcomers and even old comers. If you come old, that's a good thing, first of all. And second of all, no matter your experience level, I think you can benefit from AstroNvim and maybe LazyVim, but I haven't tried that, so I can't speak on it. Because if you're a newbie, AstroNvim does so much work for you, and work that you wouldn't be able to do by yourself, and gives you a nice whole editing experience, gives you an IDE-like editor that you only have to add some things in. It gives you a framework to get the features that you want quite a bit easier, and so it's way easier to add those features as a beginner. Especially thanks to Astro community packs, which are ready-made plugin configurations that you can just add with a single line, and here you go. you have the plugin configured, once again, better than you probably could. And Astro is good for old comers, for people who already know quite a bit, because you probably already want some special functionality. Because it is a distro, it's a bit more tight fit, and so you will have to put in more effort to do some things. And what I ended up having to do pretty often is actually look into the source code of AstroNvim. And source code of distros is most likely still more complex than your code, even if you know quite a bit. Because remember this, when you're good, you're most likely specialized in some sort of like sector. I specialize in the NeoVim, I guess, usage API, the side of NeoVim of how to use it, and to use it in very novel and interesting ways to attain behavior that is very convenient while editing. That is my sector of expertise. I am the type of person that knows about G question mark operator. That let me show you what it does. It ROT13 encodes a motion of text. So things like that are my niche. Specifically NeoVim Lua API for making, I don't know, like floating window related plugins and all that sort of thing, I am getting into, but it's not my expertise. I am also getting into Vim script, but it's also not my expertise. And this is probably the same case for you. Even if you know quite a bit of NeoVim and understand it quite well, there are likely sectors which you haven't really gone into, and yet could benefit from doing so. And AstroNvim has to give you a whole experience, and it will touch on a lot of those things simultaneously. So when you want to change something, you go and look at the source code, and you're like, wait, I haven't thought of that. So see, as a beginner, it is, oh, I couldn't do that. And as a, let's say, expert or advanced or medium user, you will say, oh, I haven't thought of that. Your thoughts might not have gone into that direction, and now by using a distro, you came across something cool that you do want, that you haven't thought that you wanted. And this is how using a NeoVim distro is actually beneficial, even if you're good and even if you're very good. Another big point is maintenance. If you use a NeoVim distro, you have to maintain things far less, because a part of the maintenance comes onto the distro. All the default configurations, all the Astro community packs, all of that is maintained for you. All the weird breaking change bullshit is most likely going to be dealt for you in a reasonable time period. And so you can focus on configuring what you want, and can just let the distro configure the things that you don't care about but still want to use. So with all of that, why did I switch off for like what, 70 milliseconds of hello? Can you, oh, I see, blammo, here we go. I switched off AstroNvim for like what, 70 milliseconds of startup time. Amazing, isn't it? So if I do lazy profile, well, this is more than usual. Now, usually for me, startup time is around 60 milliseconds. And on AstroNvim, it was 130 milliseconds. That's mostly it, not gonna lie. But it would be a bit of a lie to just say that, oh, just switch off Astro and you'll get such a huge benefit. That is false. That is very false. AstroNvim is already quite well optimized, and you won't get that considerable of a benefit just like straight up. What I did get is the ability to structure my configuration in ways that make more sense for me. And because of this new structure, first of all, I had to make new structures that I was using AstroNvim for. And these new structures I ended up making better than they are in AstroNvim. And the file organization as well. The STD library, kinda you could say, of my configuration. While moving, I had to re-implement a lot of features that I came to love, and I ended up making them both better and less bloated with things that don't matter to me at all. So thanks to this experience of basically gaining independence, taking back my config from a distro, I was able to put it together in a way that made more sense for me. And through this, I was able to discover some places where I could lazy load better or load things after and stuff like that. So it's mostly because of clarity that I was able to find ways to cut down my startup time more so than me just switching off Astro. Because without my cool optimizations that I added in, the startup time was actually pretty similar. It was almost exactly the same, and at some points my config was actually slower. So if you're currently using a distro, shut the fuck up, car. Pew pew pew. If you're currently... Wow, you're so loud. It is literally 7 a.m. Bitch, go arrest someone quietly. Damn, can't even stream at 7 a.m. By the way, why 7 a.m.? I had electricity like gone for me. I went to sleep at 9 a.m. yesterday, and I didn't just misspeak. Yes, I do mean 9 a.m. And so I wake up at like what, 6 p.m. Technically yesterday, practically today. And so I like start my day and I do stuff I usually do in a day and start like preparing to stream mentally and all that stuff. And then it was like around 11 p.m. boom, lights out, and I'm like, well, shit. Immediately a timer starts going. About 4 hours. Oh right, it won't show that to you because I'm on Do Not Disturb, but basically, actually I can just do it like this. Just like execute it normally. Crazy, I know. So basically, how much battery do I have? Around 4 hours. There is a time like counting down of about 4 hours where I could do things without internet, but it's not really a big deal because all of the content that I watch I always download. A bunch of documentation that I have is downloaded locally as well, and most things that I do are NeoVim related anyway, so I can just search for NeoVim documentation. Here it's obviously local. So I have a lot of things to do even without internet. It's not really a big deal. Worst case scenario, I just share internet, like mobile internet, from my phone. But the battery I cannot restore. I don't have a way to like put a plug into some sort of nuclear reactor at home. I don't have that. So, damn, I'm fucked. So I try to min-max, like having a good time and also doing some programming stuff. But then it like runs out. And, well, shit, what do I do now? So I was actually in my bed on my phone reading documentation about tree sitter. Let's go to Cur. I was reading about how to make tree sitter queries to change your syntax rules of tree sitter. And that has been very interesting. I don't know enough to really tell you much about it yet, but I'll probably cook up something in the future and show that to you. But at, I guess, around an hour ago, lights are back on. It's now 7 a.m. and I'm ready to stream, finally. I would usually just do it a bit prior. Back to whatever I was talking about prior. Yeah. So, thanks to this newfound clarity of AstroNvim, and through the experience of switching off but still wanting some features that I had, I read even more source code of AstroNvim and stole a lot of things from there. The craziest thing I will actually show you later. The craziest thing that I had to steal. Let's start with my status line. So AstroNvim uses airline to make its status line, tab line, WinBar, and status column. I'm not sure why it uses airline to make the status column specifically, because it doesn't actually change it from the defaults at all, so I don't really get why it needs to. Maybe I missed something, but everything else, yeah, it does indeed change. So by default in Astro, this is a buffer bar that contains all the names of buffers that you have opened. I despise that. I want to shoot that with a gun. I think it is terrible. Because I switched to NeoVim specifically because the experience of basically managing tabs that are just open files back on VS Code was very jarring. Moving to a different file is always me looking through like a billion tabs and then pressing the go to next tab mapping a billion times, like super jarring. And then I come into NeoVim to see that again? Fuck no, why would I want that? I assume that in your doc directory Lua PDF is the Lua manual. No, not exactly. It is the Lua book. Let's use Zathura this, and here it is. This is this Lua book that I'm reading very slowly because I'm still like pushing away Lua. I still hate this language, so I feel like reading a book to learn it better like kind of feels like a waste when I could be learning just a better language, Python, which is also something that I learn currently but very slowly. Because most of the time that I have to spend on programming related things, I usually spend on NeoVim configuration. It's crazy. I haven't heard of LuaRef though. I assume it doesn't just contain the entire book. It does not. Well, basically, like, I know how to use the language already. at least like for the most part. I might miss some things here and there. What I wanted from the book is to learn things more concretely and from the ground up. So I could know Lua as good as X0L, which is probably impossible, let's be real here, and still hate it. Because, yeah, basically the one motivation for me to read the Lua book is so I could be really good at Lua and still despise it. It is the entire reference manual? Oh, I see what you mean. It's like the entire reference manual. Oh, I see. So, yeah, so they're still separate. I mostly look up Metatable stuff in it. I have never used them, not gonna lie. I'm sure if I discover them more, I'll think they're useful, but probably ass. In the same exact way that Lua generally is. Like, I still cannot get over function. Like, oh my god. Like, yeah, of course, I have a snippet to do this, which is very useful, but I would rather not. Oh yeah, fun fact. I'm so used to using it that I never mention it. If your buffer is acting strange, maybe your syntax highlighting is wrong, or there are diagnostics that no longer should be there, a trick that I use is command mode E, enter, and it will most likely fix everything. It's pretty cool. The Lua book might be something else. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so fuck buffer bar. I despise that idea, and I want to punch something. I don't want to punch an actual human dev that thought of this idea. That feels too mean. But I want to punch the metaphorical idea of a buffer bar in NeoVim. And it also restarts the LSP. Oh, it does. Oh, that makes sense. That's probably the reason why it like refreshes diagnostics. Yeah, basically E is very, very useful, and it is short for edit if you need like a mnemonic, and you can just enter edit if you want. It's just that this is really fast to just enter E enter is mwah. Then what else does Astro reattaches? Yeah, makes sense. If it like restarted the LSP, I might not have been using it at all, because that would be too slow for something like Rust, for example. So Astro also has in about this place bullshit diagnostics that yell at you for close to no reason, which is amazing. It also shows you an icon when tree sitter is active. Bitch, why is that useful information? Yeah, of course it's active. It is most likely active. It is active in basically every place. I believe it's not like active in this buffer, because there's like what? The file type is text. So maybe not. But like, if I am in a file with some file type, I probably have tree sitter. Why is that useful information? Stupid. It also shows you your current virtual environment, which, as far as I know, is only useful if you're writing Python. But yet, this is included for you by default. You're just given that. On one side, it's cool, on the other, it's bloated. I don't use virtual environments yet in Python. I barely use Python. So, what if you never use Python and hate it or something? Why is it included? I mean, it's not like it's shown. It's only shown when it's relevant, when you are in a virtual environment, I mean. So it's not gonna actually like yell at you like the other two elements, which are also useless. But it is included and evaluated as well. The other things that it has are pretty reasonable in the default configuration. So AstroNvim, and more specifically AstroUI, provides a lot of these components for your hairline config that you can remove, by the way, if you want. But an entire plugin's worth of airline configuration that does a bunch of things, loads a bunch of code, only for you to then disable it, is a lot of extra work for something that you never wanted to begin with. So what I did is I stole a lot of things from AstroUI into my airline config. One bad thing about AstroUI is that its code is fucking inscrutable. It is fucking impossible to understand, basically. It is such spaghetti code, oh my fucking god. It is difficult for, I find it hard to believe, a good reason. It is abstraction levels that make things more difficult and not easier, while they're usually supposed to make things like easier to work with. Basically, it's pretty OOP, which sucks. At least how it's implemented in AstroUI. So a lot of bullshit that I no longer have loaded for me for no reason. Finally. So let me show you my airline configuration. Let's do this. You should be closed. So the configuration itself, it's pretty simple. Plugin, event, but now the options, where I just return this table, which is my entire airline configuration. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm just going to give you a link in the chat. This is a link that is up to date, and this is a link that will not be broken in the future. I think that's the most short way to explain the difference of the two links. What do I want to show? Because some of these elements are like cool, yeah, but I kind of don't care about them anymore because I talked about them in the past and they're not that interesting. I mean, like this element, these elements, all those are kind of like obvious, I guess. So let's talk about this. There's actually an interesting option called show command that I didn't know of. If you have your command, basically if you have a line after your status line, which I do not, in it on the right side it displays the keys that you press. You do something like ZF and it starts showing there that you press ZF. That's pretty cool, especially for streaming. I mean, yeah, I also have screen key, sure, but having things be more clear is very helpful, I think. Fuck, I love water so much. So, turns out you can actually use this functionality not in that last line, but in your status line. So show command, also, if you are in visual mode, it shows you how many lines you have selected. If your selection is multi-line, it shows you how many characters you have selected. If your selection is within a single line, and if you do blockwise, it shows you like what? Columns by lines, which is very helpful. But if you want more information, press G, Control G, and it will show you more explicit information. I even have a mapping for that on, so when I do GZ, it will show me that information. So that's like for more better information. Also works in normal mode, by the way, for you can see what. But for like a quick element in your status line, this is pretty damn great. I can immediately tell that I selected 4 columns by 11 lines. Actually, the opposite. So first 4 lines and 11 columns. The more you know. Which shows I just recently added it back. Because I don't have a line after my status line, I don't have these like things that I used to have a really long time ago, before AstroNvim, that is. And yeah, AstroNvim does not actually come with this element by default. Which is kind of strange. I would expect it to, because it's very fucking cool. So show command blah blah blah, but show command lock is what actually enables you to put it into your status line. And so when we go to my status line, this is the entirety of the thing that I needed to put in. We just put %S, and that will include that element. And here I highlight it how I want. Let's talk a little bit about this interesting fucking, how do I call it? There's a really cool fitting word for this that I'm forgetting right now. Yeah, I forgot it. So usually you would just do this. I believe this works. It should. Yes, it does. Or you just specify a link to a highlight group, orange bold, like this, for example. The issue with this is that if you ever want to make a custom like color, let's say you wanted it to be some very specific color, like for example FFA FD7. So you can't just put a color in like this, I believe. I'm pretty sure you can't. And there is no highlight group with that color, most likely, unless you have made it in some other place and you remember that you have made it, and now you can put this in as shell pink, for example, which is kind of a hassle. Well, why don't you just use this syntax? So foreground is FFA FD7, and let's make it bold also. Bold is true. That's pretty simple. Why not use this, right? The reason to not use this is because making a new highlight group, which is what you're doing here, is way slower than linking to an existing one. I came to know this information from the main maintainer of AstroNvim, so I have reason to believe that. So I don't recommend just putting an object like this. But having to go to a different place and create your own highlight group and then link to it by name is very annoying, even though it's more efficient. So I made this abstraction env high that takes an object like this and min-maxes it, basically. Let's go to the definition. I won't bore you with the details, but effectively what it does is it turns this table, which is a highlight, into a string that is going to be the highlight group name. If this highlight group doesn't exist yet, it is created and you're returned the name of it. You can see here. So you get just the name of the highlight group that you just ensured exists. But the cool thing is that if this highlight group already exists, we don't need to create a new highlight group. We just return the name. So here. This way, thanks to this abstraction, you automatically get both benefits. The benefits of both worlds. You don't have to manage a bunch of hyper-specific highlight groups for the performance benefit, and yet you can use the more convenient syntax for creating new highlight groups because they're basically cached. So let me send you a link. This one is up to date, and this one will not break. And so I use this abstraction and also this abstraction to like set a highlight group. So we set a highlight group to this link that we might have just created or just got from a cache. I use this in my file where I define all of the highlights group changes that I make, and I make a lot of them. Like if we open language, for example, see how many comments there are. If we open each one of them, there's quite a lot of highlight group changes that I make. In Fish, in CSS, in Rust specifically, there's like a billion of them that I change. Okay, well, not that much, but quite a bit still. So all of these changes, or at least most of them, I use the cool syntax of, let's go to something like plugins. See, I just use the syntax of a table to define whatever fucking colors I want. And I get the performance benefit automatically because I use this abstraction. I can still use direct links because I know for sure that blue is defined and it is what I want. So you can just directly link to blue if I just so happen to remember it. But if I don't, I could just as easily say foreground is env color blue, or rather cyan, I actually call it. Yippee! And so this is the reason for why I use it here as well. Because what this does is run once on startup, or I guess more specifically on UI enter, and evaluate to a valid, maybe new highlight group. And that is the highlight. Rather than setting it to an object that is then for sure created anew, no matter what, or making this be a function that returns a highlight group, which you can do, by the way. And this means that it will have to run every time that this needs to update. No, I just set it once and that's it. Blammo. That's pretty cool. some time ago, I actually made this element in my window manager top bar that shows me, hey, you've been looking and staring at the computer for at least 40 minutes, you should get up. And then if I press a certain hotkey, it goes away. And it's been a pretty cool idea. Actually does make me like stand up and look around a bit every so often, kind of ensuring that I rest. So I appreciate that quite a lot. Also, I removed borders and gaps recently, which is why chat is so like directly close to the editor, and in other places too. Everything is just so tight now. It felt weird at first, especially considering that oftentimes the color of my top bar is exactly the same as the color of my editor, terminal, Discord even, and some other places. But I actually enjoy it now. It feels more tight in a pretty cool way. Next thing that I added to my airline config is this. This shows me the most recently executed command mode command. Why is that useful at all, you may say? That is because if you press @ this will execute the most recently executed command mode command. You can probably see how this is useful now, because if you can clearly see what command you just executed, you can more freely just press @ to repeat that. And I have that mapped to \. So when I press \, it repeats my most recently executed command mode command, which you can very clearly see. If like highlighting is fucked up right now, for example, I already have noticed that my most recent command is edit, and I can just press a hotkey to redo it. It's very fucking convenient. Let's look at how I made it. So what's the juice here? Condition is run first, and it decides, like, should this element even be shown? We check the contents of the colon register, which actually contains the most recently executed command. And this thing is per session, by the way, so it doesn't get stored across sessions. There is a way to make it so it remembers across sessions, but it's far more annoying and truthfully not worth it, because @ only works for same session, latest command mode command. So we just get the register, and if it is not empty, then yeah, sure, display this status element, this widget, you could say. We highlight it. Then when should you update this element? You should only update it once I leave command mode. So I enter command mode, type something in, and I leave whether or not I enter the command, and it gets updated. If I actually execute it, it will update into my widget. And this is so it isn't like constantly updated. It's just basically for performance, because we only really need to update this on command line leave. Command line leave, I believe, also happens when executing in a macro, by the way. which is kind of interesting. Then we add some padding. Padding is this. Basically a whole status line element that I can pass a number to, and it will be that many spaces. And it doesn't get updated ever. Just return false, which should just be false, by the way. Meant to change that. Does that work? Holy shit, that's slow. The startup time. It's usually way faster, but it's... Holy shit. But it's because I'm streaming. What is taking the most? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it's usually not this much. If CCC always took 53 milliseconds, I don't know if I would be using it. And LazyDev taking 125 milliseconds is insane. That's not the general case. Trust me, it's usually 60 milliseconds. It's because I'm streaming. So first, a space, so that's basically this space. Then my special symbol to signify the meaning of this widget. It's pretty obvious that it's colon. It's like such a big convention. And we don't update it ever, because remember, we already put a condition. If condition is false, the widget is not shown at all, so all of these elements will not be shown. They're not updated, they're just not shown. So we don't have to update this or the padding. They're static. If they need to be shown, they don't need to be updated. It's always a simple string, you know? Not like you're ever going to notice printing 1 or even 100 characters every frame. I don't think it's possible to notice for the human eye, but still, why would you waste your computer's efforts, right? And this thing is the actual thing that should be updated. Like, this is the provider to get us the most recently executed command mode command. Blammo. So we just also get the contents of the colon register and return them. As simple as that. There is also, I wonder if I can find it for you. It's not here. There's this init thing. Init basically lets you set up state, set up a bunch of variables in a single kind of thingy. So you check and execute some code and put all the things that you want to store into self. And then you can use it in both highlight, provider, and I assume something else that I don't remember. Pretty convenient, but unfortunately, you cannot use it in condition, because condition happens before init, which actually makes sense, but can be slightly inconvenient, which is why I get the contents of the colon register twice, which is technically but it's not that big of a deal. Now, to the biggest part. The part that I promised I would get to. The status column. Give it up for the status column. You may be seeing, well, hold up now, isn't that weird? It should be saying 10, and here it should be saying 11. And if we go to the end of the file, this should be saying 20. What the fuck, actually? Yeah, so right now, I only have relative numbers, and these relative numbers are shown not just in hex, but actually base 36. if we zoom out to see absolutely fucking nothing, it's probably even worse for your experience. It goes up to 35, which is Z, and everything after is question mark, because by all accounts I should not be jumping that far using a relative jump anyway. It doesn't matter. That is if I ever zoom out like this, and I won't. This has two benefits. The first one, oh fuck, this snooze is kind of harsh. God damn. Okay. Sheesh. Damn, wow, okay. The first one is pretty obvious. I get to save a whole entire column. A column that I used to have to use always, because there would be at least 10 lines to each side. They used to display as two columns. Here it would be 1 and here it would be 0. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, etc. But now I don't need that. I don't have to display numbers like that, and they're just displayed in base 36. So I get to save an entire column, and it looks nice like this. Very pretty and neat. And because I was able to move my numbers like closer to the edge, because they all display immediately on the left side and nothing precedes them, because of that I was able to move my other elements to the complete sides as well. There used to be padding of one space here, and here, and here, and here, on all four corners, only inexplicitly because numbers weren't immediately to the left, and it felt jarring to put everything else immediately to the sides of the corners. Does that make sense? Now I don't have to make that trade-off, and everything feels even more tight and stout. This I do realize is like a very minimal optimization, but I enjoy it so much, you don't even know. It's super enjoyable to me. Details like this matter to me intensely, and hence why I guess I make this content, because I'm sure I'm not the only one on this earth to be so excited about minute details, so I hope you enjoy the content. So the second benefit is one that I've been using Anki for. When I see hex numbers, I don't want to see C and think, hold up, what number is that in decimal? That annoys me incredibly. This lack of surety in my knowledge feels bad. I want to be so sure that I don't even need to make a second thought about it. And if I am forced to use relative to line numbers in base 36, I am forced to learn what numbers all of these are in decimal. I had no fucking clue what K would be in base 36. Now I am sure it is 20. Let's go check that. And I'm correct. I am forced to learn that. So I am and was confident that A is 10. It's very easy to figure out. But something like C, I wasn't quite sure about. I would have to count. But as I use this, I'll be more and more sure of all of these letters. And when I see hex, it's going to be so clear, instant, and obvious to me. Because I encode this knowledge into my muscle memory. In the future, when I see capital E, I will think, what is it, 14? I will think, oh, move my fingers like this to type 14. So effectively, I get to store this knowledge with kind of minimal effort because I just put it into my normal workflow. It is amazing. But the part that was difficult, like this was reasonably easily doable. I think mostly because of my experience though. I wouldn't say it's like actually easy to do. It's kind of annoying actually. It was reasonable enough. The part that was actually difficult is making my fold column. You can see there's actually a space before end. I tried having like no space in between, but that looked too much, like too jarring. I didn't like that. I wanted to have a fold column or some way to specify that, hey, this line actually starts a fold. And right now all of them are closed, so it's not very obvious. So let's open this fold, and now you can more clearly see that this square is actually colored differently from all the other lines, unfolded lines. So this square of background color specifies that this line starts a new folding section. You would be surprised just how much effort doing that requires, surprisingly. So I had to steal CFFI from AstroUI to do this. Yes, really, just to get some folds. Isn't that silly? Really, OFF, you can't just provide me this information directly. Cool, amazing, great. So, this is how I use it, blah blah blah. Like, that part is not very interesting. Yeah, at least for me, the more interesting part is the fact that I had to use CFFI just to get this information. Information that is already used in the default thing, but it's used in an annoying way. It also draws lines to specify, oh, this fold goes like throughout these lines. I don't care about that information. Anytime I make a fold, I am the one making the fold. I know where I folded it. I don't need that information, and it looks very jarring to have like lines here or even background colors all over the place. It feels way too much. I tried removing the characters of those lines, but then if a certain fold is inside of another fold, it starts just drawing 2s here. Just literally the number 2. Like, what the fuck? I didn't ask you to do that. What the hell? So you can't really do it nicely in a default way. So yeah, blammo. What is this link that I sent you? Please show me. Oh my fucking god. That's unsafe, by the way. I could be sending you malware. This should, like, pop up and tell you what this link is. What the fuck? Okay, up-to-date link, not broken link. So yeah, now my folds look stellar. They look so good, while not really being an eyesore. This is very slight, but big enough for me to pretty clearly notice, like, oh, okay, this is folded, and this is not, you know? So let's actually fold this, and fold this. So I love this a lot. It's great. All right, I ran out of power. Let's actually go do something. And that's about it that I have energy to talk about. Isn't that kind of like... I don't know what it is. Is it the autism? Is it the bottom-up processing that makes it so hard to, like, put more things in? That makes me really want to explain things this way, this, like, expanded and emotional way, that I only have, like, what, an hour for it? Or is it something else? I don't know. Let's go to Jen. I want to steal more things because the airline cookbook actually has a bunch of elements that you can just straight up steal and take. I am currently recording a macro element I actually stole from there, and the timeline and the searches out of searches I also stole from there. Fun fact, let's search for an end of line. It no longer shows you 99 plus, which is a strange default anyway. It actually shows you all the matches, which is far more useful. You can search for something like, how many double lines do I have in this file? You're like, I have 4. And you don't have to worry about it being 99 plus. So let's go and steal more things. I already read this cookbook in the past, so I already know how things work mostly. Enough to make things work. But I kind of skipped on the elements that it like suggests you make. It doesn't come with any built-in elements. Just some suggested configuration. Mode thing I already have. This I already have. I forgot to add the lock to mean like, oh, this file is not like writable. Do I want that? When has it been ever useful? Never. Okay, I guess I don't. File type I already have. Encoding is UTF-8. And you will have UTF-8. When was the last time you edited a file which wasn't UTF-8 encoded? I haven't, kinda ever. Back in AutoHotkey days, I edited UTF-8 with BOM, but those days are over. So, kinda useless. File format is Unix, and if it isn't, it is fixed to be Unix, so it doesn't matter. File size. That is useless. It's cool, but useless. File last modified especially. This already have. Oh, is this like characters versus bytes? Wait, no. Huh? Wait, I don't get this. Ah, line for 540 out of these many lines. Got it. That makes sense. However, if I do G Control G, it will tell me that. In a format that's a bit more annoying to visually parse, but it's good enough. This AstroNvim actually comes with. It's basically a visual representation of how scrolled in the file you are, which is cool, but also kind of ass. I don't know, it's kind of like, ugh, I like it. Fuck LSP, it... I really don't care about the LSP throwing shit at me, so like whatever. This is cool, but I tried to put it here and couldn't figure out a good way to like make it take a reasonable amount of space. Because if a file path takes this much and the current working directory takes this much, only have this space to show like the symbols, and then it's just too crowded. Then I guess I could put them here, but then I have to figure out how do I make it basically truncate. It's kind of a mess, and ever since I disabled it, I haven't really, I haven't really missed it. So, also requires a plugin. Maybe not requires, but probably want that. So this I do want to re-add actually. That's convenient. So airline just comes with a condition, like has diagnostics. Ah, yes, diagnostics. It is that simple. I kinda... holy shit, there is a diagnostic changed event? What? No, they're not. You fucking hoed it from me. What is the past tense? I know that hoed is incorrect, but what is the past tense of hide? Hided sounds very wrong. What the fuck? What is it? I know hidden is like the third thing. Hoed sounds really funny. And it also sounds like an insult. hide past tense. Oh, it's hid. Ah, right. Makes sense. Hode is significantly more funny, though. What the fuck is this provider? What the fuck is this provider? Oh, I see. Is that like concerning the CFFI thingy? I think some of the old systems just don't have good integrated systems. What on God, so true. For example, trying to list all highlight groups of a buffer is a pain. Yeah. Yeah. However, let's go to regen highs. Whoops. I have this function that at least should, let me visually parse it. So this fish shell function, or actually bash function, I think it will work as like bash commands. The only thing really that matters here is the redirection. I think it's the same in bash. Basically, it takes all the highlight groups and puts them all in a file conveniently. So let's do regen highs and go to highlights, and blammo, it contains all of the highlights that you have, that you would usually look at like this, but this is not a buffer, and this is very fucking inconvenient if you wanted to copy something, for example, or search for something, because believe it or not, slash is not a thing for some odd fucking reason in the messages view, so this sucks. So all of these are now here and sorted too. What I think this provider is just a literal thing to like enclose. Oh, actually, the 99 plus thing is extremely weird to me. Like if I search through a million lines, yeah, exactly. That is such a weird default. And I don't know why it's there, but I assume it's because like 1 billion years ago in Vi or fucking Ed or something, it couldn't calculate more than 99 fast enough, which is hard to believe, honestly, and so it like stopped at 99 and showing 99. So Ed, I'm just like joking around, but like let's say Ed did it that way, and then Vi had to do it that way too for backwards compatibility, and then Vim did that too, and then NeoVim just didn't fix it. And also cross like backwards compatibility with Vim. And then we're stuck with a weird, strange, false, incorrect, bad feature. But not anymore, because you can steal it from the cookbook of Hairline. That's where I got it. Or you can just grab it from my configuration. I recommend to just steal from the cookbook though. It's going to be more up to date. I really like these icons, by the way. I have a track rotating in my mind. I think I already shared it before, but it's still such a banger. Listen to it, everyone, and give me your opinion on it in the Discord server, the link to which is in the description. Holy shit, 3 whole reactions on a stream. What? That's crazy. Never happened before. That's actually pretty cool. So it's like a literal thing instead of the icons, I think. Then we get the yeah, static, that's what I thought. Sign get defined. You can define signs in Vim script? Since when? Didn't know that. I'm just going to use my own like icon thing though. And yeah, basically everything after is pretty straightforward. You know what I don't like about the airline cookbook? It's too good. What do I mean? I just take this entire thing and copy paste it into my config and barely change anything. That's not fun. You know, that's like almost disappointing, right? Like, damn, I wanted to work on it a bit. I wanted to figure it out. But I kind of don't need to. So let's put it here. What do you mean you failed? Unfail, please, I guess? Chat, you should have no reason to fail. Oh, come on. Oh, right, needs to have a comma there. What a type. God damn, I wish you didn't show me that and I can just toggle it. With a feature that I think I haven't shown you or haven't explained. On topic of ed, have you tried G capital Q? You mean like in Vim? The mapping that puts you into X mode, where you just keep on executing command mode commands one after another instead of going back to normal mode? Yes, I do know about it. Yeah, I do know about it. It's cool. Completely useless though. I have never once thought, oh, I could use this mode because it's so useful. No, never happened. I do have a use case for GQ, or rather, I remapped it to something else that I find useful. Let's harp into Z. Oh, well, that's kind of inconvenient. Let's do this and redo. So let's open new harp Z. So this place is where your plugins live. I've told before that I looked at the source of AstroNvim a lot, but I actually look at source of other plugins too, and I try to figure something out, which is either poorly documented or there's just too much documentation to go through and it's just easier to look at the source code. Yes, I'm good enough to be able to say that. Sometimes it's literally easier to look at the source code for me. Kind of proud, not gonna lie. So what I can do is search for telescope, and I go to this file. This is not actually the file that I wanted to go to. But that doesn't matter because this file is in the Git repo of the telescope plugin. So now I can press G capital Q and it will change my current working directory to the repo of the plugin. And now from here I can actually search for whatever I wanted to search for. It's very convenient. And it is G capital Q. No, not like that. And if we do it like this, here we go. Here it is, the definition of the mapping. Please, LSP. Here you go. Oh my god, I have so many abstractions. This is string trim, and this is env shell. Voila, here you go. Very fucking convenient. I use G capital Q all the time. I often look at source code if other people in Discords have problems. You're honestly like an angel. I don't get how you can have the both patience and goodwill to do that. That is such a good like thing to do. And thank you so much for doing so. I have to find out where that stack trace comes from. I actually recently, like about stack traces more specifically, I had to do that actually. Because AstroLSP, an AstroNvim plugin that I still use through an error. So AstroLSP you can actually use even if you don't use Astro. And it's pretty great. I actually quite like the plugin. Until recently, where it introduced a dependency on Astro Core, meaning AstroNvim, just for the list extend unique function. And I was able to figure that out because I searched for AstroLSP GQ Astro Core. Oh. Wait. Oh, yeah, because I fucking moved it. Vim. Because I fucking fixed the issue that I just mentioned to you. List. Yeah, these two places. Let's go to them. So this place used require Astro Core blah blah blah. And because I don't have Astro Core, because I don't use Astro anymore, this errored. And thanks to GQ, I was able to quickly locate the issue and fix it myself. And this is actually something you can do. Except the negative is that this plugin will refuse to update now until I remove all of my changes. And then I guess I could re-add them, maybe? I've been meaning to open a GitHub issue on AstroLSP, or more specifically a PR where I fix this, but I haven't gotten around to it. Loki, I just hope they fix it themselves, but it's probably not going to happen. What I assume is the case is I'm going to be told, oh, just use Astro or something. But maybe not. It's fun and I learned a lot by doing it. That is true, yeah. But personally, I don't have enough, I guess, patience to learn things that I myself don't want personally for my config. And I keep on constantly having so much to do, so many things I want to do in my config, that I never run out of things to learn. So I don't usually put in time and effort to figure out someone else's issue, because I have like a billion other things here and here to do for myself, and they keep like increasing. So first of all, conditions, I assume is require airline conditions or something. I don't want to scroll back up, but thankfully I have marks, so I guess I can. Oh my fucking god, condition. Let's press N. Okay, so require airline conditions. Good to know. So airline conditions. It might be possible to use some update hook from Lazy to automatically rebase your patch to the repo. That's true. Yeah, that's true. And it's probably the smart thing to do if my upcoming PR, in parentheses, please do it for me, I kind of can't be bothered, gets rejected. That's probably the smart thing to do. The more realistic thing that I'll probably do is say about making the PR and just not update the plugin for a while, and then update it sometime in the future where it breaks and reapply the change manually. That's the most like realistic thing that's gonna happen. And let's add some icons. Let's go to really. Let's do it like this. Okay, like this. I thought I added env icons into a global search harp. I guess I haven't. Let's add like this, I guess. Oh, I already have them. Oh, that's cool. Let's first of all, so this one is not the correct one. None of them are right. Okay, let's go to my symbols. Another thing that I stole is all the icons that Astro uses by default. Most of them at least. Well, holy fucking shit. It changes them to be ugly. Who could have known? I wish it was text, so I could just like copy it. Because I don't want to actually use this. Fine. Let's fucking... let's do some fun things. We take this, we open a new buffer. This is Lua, paste. We do this. We do %norm, DAK, that's not default. We get this, we also %norm, go to the end x, and a bit few more %norms, lock, or rather YSSB, this vim.print, and it wraps everything in a print, and now we can do SO or my mapping for it. I don't have them defined. Fuck, that's even more annoying. So they're not a thing for me, I guess. How do I get them? Couldn't you just like put them literally here? I want these symbols specifically. They might be nerd font symbols, to be fair. Okay, maybe I store them. This looks awfully familiar and is close enough, I believe, but let's check if I have the other ones too. For fuck's sake, I hate that chat keeps on getting activated every time because it's sticky. It's very annoying. I don't think I have the triangle. and Astro doesn't come with those better looking symbols. Let's be real here. Fine, let's try to look at this. Close. And let's scroll through them. Diagnostic. Yeah, that's what I thought. Error maybe. So, ooh, this looks kind of correct. Right? Oh, wait, that's a filled triangle. Okay, let's search for warning. Unfilled triangle. Okay. I don't think info is going to give me anything, but let's see. Okay. Which one is the better one? Let's copy them both and look at them. This one is kind of huge by comparison. It's also bold. It should grow some hair first and then appear in my configuration. Okay, I'm not actually that mean. Wait, it showed how hints work. Hasn't shown how infos look. Because this kind of ugly symbol, not gonna lie. Okay. Hint. Fuck. What if we do bulb? It's actually a quite beautiful symbol. It's a nerd font symbol. I'll still add it in case I ever switch my font. Bulb. Am I fucked? Does NeoVim Web Dev Icons provide that? Let's copy this link. NeoVim Web Dev Icons, and then let's reconsider, because I just realized it's gonna be way easier to just look at the source code. Oh, for fuck's sake. Let's do dev icons, go there, and search for icons. Wait, oh, it's just in a file. Oh, nice. Icons default, and here we fucking are. Because I really doubt it would just have a convenient list in the README. Why would it do that? That would be way too convenient, wouldn't it? I mean, maybe it actually does have that. Ooh. I actually use this symbol in multiple places. That's cool. Guys, I think it doesn't actually provide that symbol. Crazy, I know. Wait, oh, it does have a special icon for MPV config. Isn't that cool? By all accounts, I should probably patch my font to be a nerd font. But I don't know how to do that. Kinda scared. It's been working well enough, so I guess I don't. This list looks like it should be a telescope picker though. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. There might even be a plugin for it. How many lines are there? Not that many left. Let's go to 50 and go to the bottom, because it's, for some reason, it's easier for me to consume information starting from the bottom and going up rather than yeah, no shit, because I'm autistic. Bottom up processing, literally. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, so for some reason, when I'm reading a list of information, it's easier for me to go from the bottom and go up. That's quite funny. It actually, like, connects with autism in a pretty straightforward way. I don't think dev icons are for what I'm looking for. Most likely not. My eyes are starting to hurt. Okay, so I guess not. So we have to find this symbol. Fine. How do I patch a font to be a nerd font? I just use TTF nerd font symbols in Arch as fallback font, and it just works. Huh. How do you set a fallback font? Is that an Arch like global type of thing, or a terminal emulator specific thing? I would love to know. Well, I'll install it first. TTF nerd font symbols. TTF nerd font symbols. I don't. Alacrity does it automatically. I see. So that implies that Kitty might be doing it automatically too. Nerd fonts symbols. Ah. High number of extra glyphs. Common files. Interesting. What's the difference? Sure, one is mono, one is common, one is nothing. What does that mean? What does common files mean? Are these not monospace? And what of these two values is how much it takes? Because I want to grab the biggest one. I guess let's just grab this. TTF nerd fonts symbols. I have to remember to disable screen key for this, because I actually shown my pseudo password before on stream. Lamau. Okay, now I can turn it back on. Yeah, that makes sense. And let's just check if it just magically works. Never hurts to check. It does not. Maybe after a reboot. Because I don't believe Kitty just has fallback fonts like that. Which is, yes, very surprising. Let's search for Kitty documentation. I do have it locally installed, but I want to check the most up-to-date version. Fonts. Fallback. Where did you find fallback? I don't want to press enter. No. Oh my fucking god. Oh, I didn't know about that. That's so cool. Let's do Kitty list fonts. That's so convenient. Holy shit. I've been doing the let's search for it. I assume it's no, really? I've been doing, yes, this. I've been doing this command to just look at my fonts. And it's not very readable, so this is actually super cool. I'll add an Anki card for it. Should be in shell. Conveniently look at, or should this be a Kitty specific? I think it should be Kitty specific, because it is Kitty specific. Conveniently look at all available fonts, or rather all usable fonts for Kitty. Kitty list fonts, correct? Yes. Blammo. So what do we have here? That's really cool. That's so much easier to look at. Okay. So big question, why didn't you just fucking implement a fallback font? You absolute moron of a maintainer. Oh my fucking god, I hate Kitty so much. Oh yes, I'm fucking specifying ranges of Unicode symbols that only Elisa fucking memorizes. So fucking stupid. It's ridiculous. Really, you don't say. Maybe. Crazy idea. What an amazing design. I'll tell you fucking more. You don't have to remove this feature. You could have fallback fonts and then also symbol map. What stops you? There's a list in the Git repo of nerd font. Oh, thank you so much, by the way. I would have asked ChatGPT and gotten the wrong answer otherwise. Okay. Useful if you need special rendering for some symbols, such as power line. Avoids the need for patched fonts. Yeah, but like also give me a way to just use a patched font. Because, by the way, because I still will need a special font, by the way. So like... At least good to know that, yes indeed, I can use my font without having to realize how to patch it. That is a good thing. Okay, let's go look at nerd font. This, I assume, is under glyph sets and code points in the wiki. Thank you so much once again for being super helpful. Ad hoc curl download. I like the name of the section. Glyph sets. I assume you mean this. Okay. Wiki is, yeah, got to it, thankfully. Wow, it's so organized. I've never looked at this. Yeah. And I guess we just specify everything. My voice is starting to break in this very hot trans woman way. It's like raspy but still feminine voice. And it strangely gets more feminine, at least for what I'm going for. And I find it really hot and like gender plus inducing. Okay, so we should list fonts and look at them like this. And symbols, I guess not. I might need to like reboot to see it. Yeah, seems so. Well, I obviously will not. So instead, what's the difference? Oh, NL for no ligatures. Let's yank this. You need to run. Oh, thank you. FC cache. Let's see if it magically works. I still don't expect it to, like, maybe it got updated but not recognized by Kitty is possible. Let's restart Kitty. Noto sans sign writing. That sounds correct. And I don't remember Nimbus Mono PS, to be fair. Do any of those ring a bell for you? Well, I do know that my patched JetBrains Mono font handled everything anyway, so it's not a big deal, thankfully. So we do symbol map blah blah blah. This is the font. another desire to shoot Kitty, you could have just put all the ranges yourself. Like, it is not that difficult. I got here, it would have taken, sure, like maybe 10 more minutes without your help, but like, it's still reasonably doable. Just put them all and say, here's a like example for you to use, because you probably want this, you know? Like, Kitty is so stupid in the most like silly way, so I'm like really waiting for a better terminal emulator to come out, because we deserve better. We so deserve better. It might seem like I'm overreacting over this, and without any context, yeah, that's most likely an overreaction. But I've talked about the issues of Kitty many times on streams, and how they just keep piling and piling and piling on. So all of that together is why I'm continuously mad. So this is the syntax. Let's put it here. Very convenient, by the way. I can like make a screenshot and hover it. And let's edit my clipboard. So u plus B5. I might not have to do them in uppercase, but knowing Kitty, it's probably not handled for some reason. Somebody opened a GitHub issue about it. The maintainer yelled at him and said, actually, it's a skill issue, and why would you want this feature? And so it got closed and not fixed. Which is why you probably need to specifically specify them in uppercase. I really hate the Kitty maintainer. E700, E7C fuck, C5 with a gap. What does that mean? What does with a gap mean? Well, I hope it just won't bite me in the ass. You can also use the table from a bit. Oh, really? Thank you. That is very convenient. Damn, I should have scrolled down. Original of different location and nerd font. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Ramrevo, the MVP of the stream. Wait. Yeah, or I could just use these 3 ranges. And that will include any new potential nerd font symbol in the future and not overcomplicate it. I assume it makes sense. Probably, right? U plus F U plus many F's Just copy the whole table as text and use a macro to condense it into the format. Yeah, but then I'm worried that this is probably not a single character that they mean, it's probably a range. And then I have to add plus 26 in hex to get the end range. Oh, right, and then it starts on a different one. Oh, I see. But I think this like is more future-proof anyway. How many zeros? 5 zeros. I can actually do 5A 0. Looks correct. And we send it. Blammo, and holy shit, it magically works. Oh my god. Holy shit. That's amazing. That's really good. So now my markdown thing, let's actually open a real markdown file. Do I have anything safe here? Yeah, actually. It's fixed. Nice. Thank you so much. This would have taken more time and effort without you. So my goal is the same. Find a better looking symbols. So we were here. No, not, oh my. Why does escape do this? I'm using image magic display to display this. Bro, oh, I see. Right. And we're back to here. Imagine my OCR tool just works. I super doubt it. I mean, yeah. So I like this icon. I like this icon. I want something similar from the same kind of family. So we have this. We have this. We are missing. So this is information hint. We're missing warning and error. Error. Is there like no really at all? That's crazy. We don't get much choice, do we? Okay, I have some other tools. Nerd. Let's look here. Error. Really? That sucks. And just to check, this is the same exact symbol. Yeah, it is. Well, I guess we kind of have to use those then. They're at least consistent. But the hint one isn't, so let's search for hint bulb. That's crazy. Light. How come these didn't appear in the previous search? What the fuck do I use then? Does seem to be that exact one actually. But then this one is different. Ah. Sign get defined. It's possible that it defines it somewhere. I guess not. Okay, let's stick with something. It's kind of ass, but let's use this symbol, this symbol, this symbol, and this symbol. Or we don't use icons at all, because I can't find a good enough, consistent, like, icon thing. Let's try that idea. Alternatively, in the future, I could just grab like random ass icons. So condition has diagnostics. No icons. Let's go back to icons. I did not add anything. Okay. So we get diagnostics. We update. I don't like the new lines. Provider, we don't need this, but we will need padding after. So here we change that to padding. Diag, and here they all are. I would usually use env high that I've shown you earlier the stream. Are these two yellow colors different? I think they are. Yes, they fucking are. Holy shit. Oh my god. This is the old yellow before I changed it in my color scheme. Holy fuck, what a find. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so let's copy this. All of this. Boom. Is the green new? I haven't changed green or cyan or red. I only changed the yellow. The more you know, I guess. Interesting. Diag Gnostic virtual text error. Let's grab that. Really interesting. Let's put that here and take this, put it here. I copied another one. Well, I can imply it. So error warn info hint. Why here? Info hint. Now we select all of this. Norm YSS this, YSS this. Oops, forgot a space here. Actually, these I don't need to change, so I'll just leave them in as comments. But diagnostic warn should actually just be linked to yellow, because I know it's defined. Okay, and let's copy. Whoops. And go back here. Let's grab hint. This was info. Warn. And the final is error. Blammo. Zero is just another output. We can decide to print it or not. I don't understand this sentence. What do you mean? So, okay. Fuck. Just self errors. And a similar thing here. So we do DSB, D2 find space, delete until the end. 5 plus, to go specifically to the start of the line, 2W, unwrap, I guess. D2 find space. At this point I could have made a macro, but I'm already almost done. Fuck. We actually don't need padding here because it's automatically provided by each element. Let's do norm for a reason that doesn't really matter, rather isn't important, I can basically repeat my most recent command mode command, but I could also dot repeat this, I guess. Boom. And let's reverse these, because I plan to put them on this side. And that should be it. Let's try it. I mean, there are no diagnostics. And now there is. Ta-da! Amazing. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. I like it actually a lot. Without icons. Okay. Diagnostic. There are variants that include sign in them. Is the yellow correct? Okay, I have to look at yellow sign. Links to yellow, which is correct. Okay, diagnostic. So let's just add sign to all of these and then change all of these to be bold. Yeah. Let's go here. We link this to red. This to blue. And this to green. Yank here. Blammo. But sign now. All of these are default, so they should also include bold variants. And if they don't, I'll see that, I guess. Boom. Let's force an error and see if it's bold. It should be, by all accounts. And it is! Woohoo! That's cool. So now I get a amount of errors without it necessarily screaming at me, which is really cool. Nice! Fuck yeah! The amount of things we had to do to make that work is crazy. Let's commit this. Add diags element, status line element, airline. Okay, good steal. Very good steal. Thank you so much. So let's say you have blah blah blah. Oh yeah, I don't want that. I see. No, I don't want them visible. Okay. For the ones who are not too afraid of changes. Oh, that's convenient. Has changes if Huh. Oh, Git Signs just straight up provides this. Oh, that's cool. But I don't think I want branch anymore, because I am basically entirely always on main, so it's kind of useless information. Yeah. And I have my branches picker using my plugin Salable that I haven't yet talked about, which shows me what branch I am on, which is main. So I don't think I want that specifically, but the other things I do want, like the ones that show me how many changes there are. But I think I'm gonna steal that off stream. Because I am out. So thank you for watching. Join the Discord server, which has some amazing channels. Especially if you want to get notified of my streams, you can opt into this role. Because at least, like, for me, I guess, like, the bell works. But I don't know, how often do you notice a YouTube notification? So if it is on my phone, it's not very consistent, and it will likely be like later than it should be, and once again inconsistently. Otherwise, it will be in your browser in your opened tab of YouTube, which is kind of like and then again maybe in a notification, which I also found inconsistent. Like, I don't know, feels kind of So if you feel kind of the same way, you can get pinged consistently about my streams, and then maybe you missed it, you just have a VOD here, direct link to the VOD. I think that's pretty convenient. So thanks for watching, and goodbye. YouTube is sometimes really weird whether it works